Hi everyone, welcome to Get Her Done Garage. Today we are working on my 2019 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Shaker Edition. And yet again, I have a water leak. Let's see if I can get you guys to see this. So, right here, you can probably, hopefully see, there's water leaking somewhere. So what it's most likely leaking from is the, right here. It's the gasket from the water pump, or it may be the water pump. I don't know. We're gonna take it apart and find out. And yep, it's leaking. Not terribly bad. It's kind of slow. Been driving it. It's not been a deal killer on driving it, but the smell is bad. And you never know. Once a leak is leaking, when will it ever burst and the dam will break and then a massive leak occurs? So yeah, today we're working on this yet again. I'll give you a explanation here. I could give you the 10-second one, but I think I'll give you the royalty explanation, which means 10 seconds turns into 10 minutes. So driving along, and all of a sudden we had the overheat sign come on, and that was ignored because that particular individual just didn't like that, sign. So continue driving, and then I received a phone call stating, the car is dinging, it's overheating, what should I do? And I said, how long has it been doing that? And I don't know. And then I said, pull over immediately. I'm on a bridge, I can't pull over. So eventually they pulled over and got parked. And so I was gonna come rescue them, and I was on my way packing up my stuff to come rescue them, when all of a sudden a mobile mechanic pulled up and said, I can fix this. And so they started looking around and said that the radiator had split, which I don't know, I guess it did. And they said that the fan had busted and split the radiator. I don't know, I wasn't there. So got the radiator replaced and the fan replaced and everything. Conveniently enough, my wife made it home, and in the driveway, I came out. She said, it's steaming again. I said, uh-oh. In the driveway, the hose had burst off the radiator. Turns out the guy had installed the wrong radiator. He installed the V6 radiator, which you can see my other video where I'm complaining about it. But anyway, got that radiator sorted out and fixed, and then found this leak on this water pump. And I'm just questioning, did I really need a radiator in the first place, or was it just low on coolant because this gasket failed or the water pump failed? I don't know, which is gonna really piss me off. I hate replacing parts because some doofus said something was broken. I don't know. We're going to get into it and find out if originally was the water pump's fault. But I have been driving it for a couple of weeks now with this leak here, and it hadn't overheated. So I don't think it's a water pump. I think it's just the gasket. We're going to find out. I'm going to pull it all apart. And conveniently enough, I have my own personal video of when I changed out this water pump. So I'll pull that up and run through what all I did, so I can remember what I did, and should be able to knock this out pretty easy. I'll take you along as we go. Alright, now we're going to start with removing the shaker. And it's just these 10mm things right here. That's that off. The best place to store stuff is the trunk. Oh my goodness, that was loud. Anyway, now we're going to remove this part. I'll move you guys over here so you can see better what I'm doing to get this part off. These little clips here hold this rubber hose in place. That's that clip. That's the hose. We can now unscrew it. Lose this. And that's the lower half of the shaker. Pretty easy to come off. Trunk is a great storage place. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and remove this part too. There's that. Screwdriver. By the way, I forgot to mention Or I may have mentioned, I don't remember. I forgot if I forgot. That the water's draining out of the radiator, which was easy because access was easy because that lower tray that covers it, that got destroyed, so it's not even on. So I don't know if I'm going to put it back on. We'll see. Alright, that's out of the way. Shaker package, delete. Alright, now I got a pretty good view of what I got to do to get to this water pump. And I'm going to get on it. I'm going to start busting some hoses here. And I need to remove this fan. Not remove it. I'm pretty sure I just dropped it down. Alright, let me get organized. You don't need to see all this crap. Alright. Now I am going to drop this fan down. So basically, you got 2 bolts at the top, one on each side, and then like a little wedge thing on the bottom. So you unbolt it, pick it up a little bit, and then drop it down, and that should make a lot more room for us to be able to work. Alright, there's 1 bolt. There's the other bolt. Pick this up and then drop it down. Yeah, that makes more room. Let's see how this goes. I think I'll go ahead and remove the belt. I have sketched the belt routing because I will forget immediately if I don't. Well, that didn't work. But it would. There, now that should work. Alright, there's the belt out of the way. Should be able to get to everything I need to get to this. The upper radiator hose. Nope. That's bigger. Let's see what size that is. $13. Trying to see what else I need to remove. I think there's a sensor here I need to remove. Safety sensor clippy things. You got to move the red thing out of the way. The red thing has to go back, and then you push in on the black button, and then it comes off. Get this out of the way, and let's see what else. I think gotta get this hose off. Alright, there's that hose off. And then there's this goofy thing. I can't remember how that comes off. But now it's time to start unbolting. And I'm going to have to get prepped for that because I like to keep the bolts in the places that they go. Otherwise, I will get confused. So let me get prepared for that. Alright, so I'm ready to get started. I'm going to go ahead and remove this pulley right here. Easier access to the bolts. Got that pulley out. That's easy enough. Just one bolt. And then I'm also going to remove the idler pulley. Maybe. Let's see. Bigger. Even with the fan drop down, there's still kind of tight clearances here. It's not perfect, but it's working. All right, idler pulley removed. This way here. Here you can really see how it was leaking quite a bit. So a lot of liquid right here. You can see some there on the crankshaft. So it was leaking, not super quick, but definitely leaking. We'll see if we can remedy that. All right. Back to removing the actual water pump bolts. That's the far left one. Let me put this in here. My cardboard template here. And I'll just start to put them in there and take them off. And we'll get them all removed. Whoop. Actually missed one right here. Here's this. I mean, this was a shorty, and this one's right here is a longie. So that's the way it goes on these. All right. I do have to admit, when I was working on the radiator, that I did loosen these bolts accidentally, which may have created this leak. I thought I needed to remove them to get that pulley off. Turns out that was wrong. And I just slightly loosened them. So that may have contributed to that gasket coming loose and failing. I don't know. Let's go down to the right. Down to the right more. bolts underneath, which are, of course, you can't see. Directly underneath. Well, directly underneath here. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Gotta pull this hose off. Let me get that off before I get all these bolts out. Never see that again. Great. All right. Get off. Ow, that hurt a lot. I'm gonna have to put some light on this. You're probably thinking, why do I have a worm gear hose clamp on this car? Well, that's because the guy who replaced the radiator lost the clamps, along with a lot of fasteners. So that is what it is. Get out of the way. Come on, buddy. Trying to fix you, not quit fighting me. longer screwdriver. Man, you just don't have a lot of room to work in. Alright, I'm going to worry about that one. It's off the pump. It's not out of the way completely, but it's off the pump. Let's see if I can get this. One on the bottom. I'm gonna go get a headlamp so I can see. Oh, great. Never see that again. See if I can get a little shorter extension to give me room here. What size is this? 13. Oftentimes, a shorter extension just means a deep socket. All right. I'm not quite sure if that's all of them. Thought there was one more. Let me go back and review some video and see if I can see how many are on here. All right. So off camera, I pulled this last bolt out of here. And then that should be enough to make it come out. Hang on. Let me put this back in here. And yeah, that seemed pretty loose. Why is it not coming out? Let's see what I can do. If I remember correctly, this thing is in the way, and that's a 10 millimeter. Pull out. Get some of this stuff out of the way. That didn't work. See if I can get a better angle on it. So yeah, not so. Nope, that was a fail. The wobble socket's a little too wobbly, and then this keeps getting in the way. Trying to go on this angle. All right. Let's see if this works. I have no idea what happened. Where'd the bolt go? Where'd it go? It was right there. It's not in the socket. Don't tell me it fell down into the thing over there. Let me go see if I can find this bolt. You'll need to watch this. All right. So that screw, bolt, whatever, disappeared. I don't know where it went. And we'll find it later, hopefully. I don't know. Got it. All right. Water pump is out. See if I can see somewhere where the gasket failed. I do not. It was probably because me loosening something, and then when I retorqued it, it just didn't want to seal. I could see a little bit of gunk there. It's probably what it was. I got a new gasket, and we'll replace it and continue on. See if I can see anything on the actual engine here. It's it looks reasonable. I don't see any anything bad, so we'll see what happens. First, I'm gonna have to find that bolt that just disappeared into nowhere, and then I'm gonna clean this up, and we'll get back to it. I'm gonna take a little break here and see if I can do those things, find where it went, and go from there. Alright, so got the water pump off and was looking at the gasket here. There's nothing obvious wrong about this gasket. It's got some crusties, and it's kind of hard. It's not pliable. And then we got this new one. Boy, that is much more pliable. You can twist it and turn it, and this is kind of hard. So I guess when I backed off a couple of those screws, then I torqued it back up. It just wasn't pliable enough to reseal. So hopefully that's it. Hopefully this thing wasn't leaking itself. We're gonna find out here and get it back on. We'll see what happens. Alright, got the gasket surface all cleaned up. Got a little bit of something on this. I am gonna risk reusing this O-ring. We'll see what happens. And then I got my water pump that I'm gonna drop in right now. So here goes, folks. We'll see what happens. So here's the water pump with a new gasket. You'll see the new gasket sticks up above the metal surface, as opposed to the old one was flush and just smushed flat. So that's probably why it didn't reseal whenever I accidentally busted it loose, it had no way of resealing. So let's go ahead and drop this on here. Got one bolt started. And everything looks good. Trusty mirror in here and see if there's any issues with the gasket that may have popped loose. I don't see anything, so should be okay. Let's go ahead and put in a couple of screws here. Slowly snug up a few of these bolts here. So far, so good. In case you're wondering, did I ever find this bolt that holds this tube in? No, it's gone. Disappeared. Probably fell into that crack between the intake and the motor. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to find a replacement because I've looked and it does not exist. It fell into the netherworld or something. I don't know where it went. All right. These going in here. A little bit of crust on this bolt here. Just going to clean it up a little bit so that in 2050 or 60, who knows, whatever this costs, it gets old, someone could pull it apart and not have that snap off in the block. And I'm going to shut off the camera here for a minute, and I'll put them in and catch up to you in a minute. Alright, so I'm back to installing bolts here. And I went manual on this bolt because it seemed a little sticky. And I was worried about stripping out something, but it seems to be going okay. Maybe the thread's got a little bit of crud in them. This being all aluminum, you got to be super careful. It's going on good. Alright, got all of them pretty snug here. I'm going to go ahead and finish them off with the hand tight. I don't know what torque they're supposed to go to. Doesn't matter anyway, because can't get a torque wrench in here, so little too tight. All right. Well, that seems to be all of them tight. All right. So you're probably wondering, again, how are you gonna replace the bolt that you lost? I'm gonna have to go digging. All right, found a little bolt here that I'm pretty sure will fit. And you're probably asking, how did I have that? Well, it's called, I'm a hoarder. And I've got lots and lots of nuts and bolts. Come on, buddy. This is where having large hands is not helpful at all. Come on. Ow. Ow. That hurt. Come on, man. This new bolt also has a Phillips on it, so maybe that'll help us get it on there. I can feel it going down, and it's just being really difficult. Okay. That appears to be in. Let's see what happens here. Alright, one of the tools that I use sometimes is this thing. You can't put any torque on it, but it can be really handy for getting things started. But that ain't gonna work. That ain't working. Let's get a light on it. Butterfingers. Once you get a wrench on it, it spins very freely. So it's the right threads, it's the right bolt, everything's right. Everything's right with the world now, because all I need to do is tighten it. All right. That's it. It's in there. All right. So water pump's bolted down. This is bolted down. Well, this is handy, y'all. What did I do? What is this to? Oh, I think that's to the air thing. Okay. Alright. That's back on. That's the temperature sender. Alright. Lower hose went on. Go ahead and tighten that clamp. All right. I'm gonna get a wrench on that. That's on. Oh wait. Before I do all that, let's get this belt on, which can be a pain in the rear. Alright, let's put this pulley back on. Go. And then idler pulley. So here's the big spring mess thing. It's got a little peg that's located over here. See if I can get this to work. All right, that's good. That works. Alright, let's route the belt. Here's my sketch here, did with crayons. Alright, goes over the crank. Well, that didn't work out well. I like how they give you plenty of room here. I keep telling myself that I'm going to get a real tensioner tool, but it never happens. All right. Let's see. Looks to be good on all the pulleys. This one, AC is right. Crank pulley is right. That's right. Yep. Maybe one day I'll get the right tensioner tool, but not today. Alright, that's on. Alright, now hoses. I remember this being a bear. I'm going to try a different method. Where you have it on here. go. That's on now. And then this. Alright, that's all the hoses. Start to fill it up next. Alright, let's see if this thing will hold water. Alright. For those of you asking, am I reusing the old coolant? Answer yes. It was fresh. For those of you also asking, did you remember to tighten the drain plug? Answer yes, I did. For those of you asking, did I remember to tighten all the hoses? I hope so. We're about to find out. So that's working its way in. All right. So far, so good. Right about now is when I start to think, did I remember everything? And when you start it, it's when you find out. Put this in here. Temperature sender on. Tighten the hose down for the air cleaner. Alright, it's all buttoned up. Remember, is there a doohickey? Yeah, there is a doohickey. Probably should have put the fan on first. Let's move some of this debris out of the way. Alright. Get underneath and make sure the fan is properly in those little slots that hold it in place. Let's see. All right. Fan is in position on the bottom. Oh, almost lost you guys. Fan is in position. Dumping in more coolant. Convenient thing about dumping in the used coolant is you know how much should go in. So whatever I took out, same amount should go right back in. So whoa, that was a major party foul. Oh well. On top of the air cleaner, no less. Alright, it's getting close. Alright, looks like it almost took it all to the same level. So let's go ahead and get this thing started here. Temperature's 201 now. Temperature's 212, and it's getting pretty close to boiling over. Let's see what happens when I shut it off. I've seen it take a big drink. I've seen it take a big drink when you shut it off. Let's see what happens. Because I think it's got an air bubble in there. It's right up to the top here. And the upper radiator hose, it's finally opening, I think. Because it's still pretty cool. Yeah, upper radiator hose is only 140. Water pump's showing 150. This isn't warm at all. This little bypass hose here. Let's see if it'll take a big drink here a little bit. Let me restart it. Let's see what it does. Taking a big drink. There it is. You can see it gurgling in the reservoir. And then you can start to see a little bit coming out of here. Yeah, this is starting to warm up now. temperature dropped from 212 to 185. There. I think there's still an air bubble in there. Alright, I shut it off. Let's see what that does here. I've had to do this before where you have to do a couple of off-ons and then it kind of purges itself. that's taking a big drink right there. Maybe it has some kind of vacuum with that sealed. You can see it taking a drink. I think it did say you're supposed to leave the cap off, but I didn't think that was like sealed, but apparently it was sealed pretty good. Yeah. You can see it gurgling a little. More air coming out. And you can also see this little thing is flowing. So that's what I've noticed. When it starts to purge air, it starts to do this kind of thing. And also the heater won't work when it's got air in the system. The heater just blows cold. So yeah, I'm just going to cap this up and take it for a test drive. Alright, let's take it for a test drive. Ramps. Where am I going? Don't hit the vet. Plenty of room. Say hi, vet. Square body Suburban. Alright. It's getting a little warm up there. Usually stays in the middle. So let's see what happens here as I'm test driving and see if I can purge some more air out of it. Shake it. Alright. Had to shake up the water in the block. See if I can get it to move around a little bit. Purge some more air out. It's coming down. You can see it's 210. Seems like the best way to purge air out is just drive these things. That's usually about the temperature that it runs, about 200. Of course, in summertime it gets a little warmer. Alright. Let's see how it does on an idle. Check the level too. It may have gone down for a big drink. Didn't lose a whole lot of volume. Let's see what this does. Still seems to be purging air. We'll let it keep on purging. But the good thing is, I don't see any leaks. I don't smell any leaks. So I think the leak problem is gone, which is great. On the heater, it's definitely blasting hot air. Oh yeah, that's roasting hot. Buckle my seatbelt, because then I won't be able to see any temperatures. All right. It's getting hotter than it should for this temperature outside. So I think it's still got some air in it. is it? It's still running a little warm. Oh. Some cars. All right, well, after a couple of test drives here and letting it idle for a long time and everything looking good, checking for any leaks, and there is 0 leaks. So this job is done. So all it simply was that gasket was bad, and it was my fault because I unbolted a couple of bolts, loosened it a little bit, and that was enough to cause it to leak. So note to self, if you disturb your water pump bolts, you're probably going to cause a leak, and you'll have to pull it all off and put a new gasket on to reseal it. And another note, don't try to reuse the gasket. It's doomed. So that's it. Thanks for watching.